I know this Eagles team, I know they're resilient, and I know that despite the loss of Job, I know they're going to play hard no matter what.
And definitely these men, these student athletes, right? Even a little bit earlier tip than some of our games here at 5 local time in the Walther Center. So many of them, classes maybe run until about 1 today and just kind of having to get right into the swing of things with getting ready to go tonight. Some of the fans that are going to be watching tonight are going to be running right from here over to night class. But excited that this gets to be a part of our experience here at West Coast Baptist College, and really looking forward to this game here tonight. Well, we are going to join you again on the other side of the opening prayer, anthem, and right in time for the tip-off. Looking forward to a great game tonight. Excited that Chandler and I are going to be able to call this one with you.
Yes, sir.
We'll talk to you soon.
Testing 1, 2, test 1, 2. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome back to the Walther Center for today's exciting matchup between the Arrows of Portland Bible College and your West Coast Baptist Eagles. I'd like to welcome the officials for tonight's game, Mr. Joe Rogers, Mr. Booty Brulard, and Mr. Spencer Mathis. Now fans, we ask that you would please rise, and gentlemen, kindly remove your hats as we open tonight's game with word of prayer, and as we honor America with the singing of our national anthem. Opening tonight's game with word of prayer, West Coast Baptist College faculty, Mr. Nathan Byrne.
Let's pray. Dear Lord, thank you so much for the opportunity we have to play today. Thank you for this beautiful facility that you provided for us. Lord, I pray that you would give us safety, and I pray that everything that is done this evening would be glorifying to you. In Jesus' name, amen.
And now, to honor America, please welcome West Coast Baptist College student Faith Delays as she performs tonight's Star Spangled Banner.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly
takeaways. And now it's time for the starting lineups. Let's meet the visiting heroes of Portland Bible College. Starting at forward, 6'6" freshman, number 24, Trevor Vermillion. Starting at guard, 6'2" freshman, number 44, Isaac Johnson. Starting at guard, 6'1" sophomore, number 12, James Crevier. Starting at forward, sophomore, forward, 6'4", number 35, Samuel Reese. And starting at guard, senior, number 4, Dimitri Weatherall. And the head coach for the Arrows, Mike Arnold. Eagle fans, it's time to get on your feet. Time to meet the starting lineups for your West Coast Baptist Eagles. From Nova Scotia, Canada, freshman, number 13, Daniel From Long Beach, California, forward, sophomore, number 3, the man in the middle, Ethan Delaney. From the great state of Texas, Fort Worth, sophomore, number 2, Braxton Booster. From Orange, California, starting out junior, number 21, Lucas Hernandez. And starting out from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, senior, number 23, KT Galipez. And the head coach for your Eagles, John Sisson, and assistant coach, Seth Hanna. Eagle fans, it's time for West Coast basketball.
Well, here after the starting lineups have been announced, the Eagles coming out with Chris Galindez and Nathaniel King in the backcourt. Ethan Delaney is going to be jumping for this, really more of a forward than a center, but part of our front court here, with Braxton Bosher and Lucas Hernandez out on the wings. Chandler, is there a player that you think is going to be the X factor for us tonight?
Honestly, David, if I'm talking about X Factor players, it comes down to two men. It comes down to Ethan Delaney, and it comes down to Lucas Hernandez, and for two good reasons. Ethan, obviously, not the biggest guy we've ever seen, but he's starting down low. How many rebounds will he get, and how many easy buckets will he get? And then Lucas Hernandez out there on the wing. The man can shoot threes. How many threes are we going to see him put up tonight, and will he go on a hot streak?
And the refs getting a couple of things sorted out here in the early going. Feels like a lot of times we mention height, the rebounding game, things like that, and certainly we don't want to sound like a broken record, but when you're playing against someone who has that kind of 6'7" length that Portland Bible's Travis Vermillion has, then you're always going to have that in the back of your mind. You're always going to have to be wondering how you're going to match up on the boards. Vermillion here coming out to the corner right away. They're trying to work him in. Let's see how this matchup plays out tonight. Swinging it around the perimeter right now. Eagles not letting them get down inside. King coming up to close out. Getting into the lane for the first time to Vermillion. Dishes it back out. And Ethan's quick hands getting in the passing lanes.
That was a nice takeaway by Ethan Delaney right there.
Bosher setting it up here. Ethan working outside, and their defense looks like they were setting up in a zone, at least on the first trip down here, not matching that kind of man-to-man look that the Eagles started in. Bosher on the baseline, looking for a jersey in white. Over to Galindez, swinging it around the perimeter right now. And Galindez will pull up and can't quite get it to go for the first buckets of the game. Delaney gets the board, loses it, but it stays with the Eagles. Hernandez has been on fire from outside in the last couple. But King is going to open the account for West Coast tonight. Hits it from the corner for 3.
David, we saw in that last possession, you saw Ethan Delaney get that rebound. And as I said before, that man's going to be have his work cut out for him tonight if he's going up against a guy like Trevor Vermillion. You look at some of these other guys on Portland's team, and Ethan just getting the fast rebound, putting it back up, and then kicking it out to King for the easy 3 on the corner.
Great work there. The active hands in the passing lanes as the Arrows have tried to find an opening. Eagles hoping to get off to a fast start tonight. We mentioned this a little bit with the tip time, but as it is right now, a lot of students are over at dinner or getting ready for that. We've got a good crowd here in the WAC, but there's not quite that raucous atmosphere that sometimes there are for our evening games. And so you know the Eagles want to get out to a good start, as they're not going to necessarily have the backup from the fans here, but they're giving them a show in the early going. A great bucket there, and that's going to be 5-0 West Coast.
Some good easy points there for Chris Galindez. David, I'm noticing that the Eagles, they're not playing a one-man team. They're playing as a team, and that's going to be another key factor coming down to the wire in this one.
The Eagles on defense, this is really nebulous. I don't know that I could exactly define it, and a good move by Vermillion there. I'm a little surprised there, but didn't hit the rim, just kind of went off the basket. It feels like they're playing with a bit of an edge that they feel like they can, maybe not quite bully Portland on the defensive end, but they feel like if they keep at it, then they're going to get into the passing lanes. They're going to get those closeouts. There's a confidence on defense that they're playing with here. Hernandez, great work getting Hernandez open. Didn't feel like he had quite enough daylight to pull it, but working it. There it is. And the bench just leapt to its feet as soon as he pulled up with that. It's always fun when your teammate is just in the flames.
It's great ball movement, though, from the Eagles in the early going. It's not one man who's touching the ball. It's every man touching the ball at some point in every possession.
And Delaney's going to get rung up there, the second for the Eagles tonight. If we can keep Portland Bible at this scoring pace, I think we'll be able to pull this one out tonight. And not just because it's 0 so far, but certainly the process of defense, the energy, the investment, the cohesion on that end. That's the kind of thing you want to see.
Yes, sir. He's out of bounds. It remains with Portland.
And let's see if Vermillion can make it work here. Good job coming over for the double by Galindez. Bosher coming down hard with that. Up to King. Let's see where we go from here. And a great job accelerating, now decelerating, maintaining control. Good work there. Great work by Galindez. Came over.
Takes the 3 and nails it.
And contributing at both ends of the floor. A little bit of a soft press here for the Eagles.
Let's see if the Eagles can keep this hot streak going. They're already up 8-0.
And Delaney flying out, trying to jump a pass near half court. Now Galindez trying to stay in front of his man. He's going to get down into the lane, and that is not quite going to be the first basket for them. Couldn't quite get there. Just about 4 minutes in, 3.5 minutes into the game. It is West Coast 8, Portland Bible 0. And you can't really draw up much better of a start for the Eagles than what we've seen so far here tonight.
Galindez has it. And a traveling violation called on West Coast. The ball goes to the Arrows.
We have a timeout on the floor. Timeout Eagles.
and Coach Sisson just immediately jumping in. Obviously, this is the way you'd want to draw it up, but there's always tweaks to be made. There's always counters that you think Portland Bible is trying to draw up, trying to figure out. And
there's always room for improvement.
Just trying to stay one step ahead here. Let's take this from the Portland side of it. I think that's probably the side that's going to come to mind more easily. If you were their coach, what would be some of the things you'd be emphasizing to your guys in the timeout right now?
Well, if I'm the coach of the Arrows, David, I tell you right now, one thing that I'm definitely going to be telling my team is to get or to be stronger on defense when it comes to the wing. All the points in this game so far have come from outside shots, with the exception of the putback by Chris Galindez. And so if I'm the coach of the Arrows, I'm telling the team to strengthen the defense on the wings and in the corner, because that's where a lot of the open shots have come from so far.
That short corner, right? It's become more popular in the NBA over the last 10 years. It's the shortest route to getting 3 points. But as we're looking at this, right, hey, it's not Portland that called that first timeout, but rather West Coast. Coach Sisson clearly saw something that he wanted to mention or something that he wanted to work on. Hey, if you were Coach Sisson right now, is there something that is a tweak that you'd already be planning on here in the early going?
If I'm Coach Sisson, I'm saying just slow down and play your game. Don't adapt to what the other team is trying to make you do. Just play your game and play it one possession at a time. You play it one possession at a time, you keep the lead. The Eagles could take this one home.
And you know that Portland is going to have to come out here with really what feels like renewed intensity. Certainly not to downplay any of their guys, but it doesn't feel like they've come out just on fire or with some kind of crazy edge from the guys in blue coming here. Feels like they're trying to find their rhythm in the game so far. But you know that when you're almost 5 minutes in and you still haven't scored yet, that energy just has to level up over the course of it. And so you're going to get that pushback. You're going to get that effort by Portland Bible to try to bring their team back into it.
The foul was on number 13, Nathaniel King. Jake LaFamia for Portland going to the line for 2. He made the first one.
And that'll open their account on the night. Arrows with 1. Arrows
and he makes
with
the second
2.
one.
Splashes both of them.
David, I remember Ben and I were talking a couple games ago about the significance of free throws. Now, if I'm both West Coast and Portland, what is the significance of free throws in a game like this?
And Lucas says, you know what, I don't want to count by ones. I would rather count by 3. Pushes it to 11-2. Free throws, right? They not only, I mean, obviously, of course they're a point. Of course they're the easiest kinds of shots that you're going to get over the course of the day. But they play into that mentality that you can have of continuing to attack, right? Hey, every jump shooting team outside of maybe the Golden State Warriors is eventually going to have to diversify instead of just bombing teams into oblivion, right? And so by being able to convert, you can remain aggressive, you can remain on the attack, as these guys want to do. And we've got a switch of the Delaney brothers in the game right now. Gabe coming in for Ethan. We've also got Zach Brown coming in for Chris Galindez.
And checking in for Portland, we've got Trevor Vermillion, the big man down under.
And that Zach Brown for Galindez substitution, right? Something a little bit different, right? It's not exactly a like for like in terms of play style. Nate King to Gabe back, and this one is going to go all around before Gabe gets it to fall.
Good, nice shot there by Gabe Delaney. That's just another 2 easy points for the Eagles.
It's 13-4 here about 6 minutes into the game. And so trying to kind of upsize a little bit here. You could even view it maybe as Brown coming in for Ethan, kind of loosely playing the 5 for us tonight, with Gabe kind of filling in Chris's role maybe as that secondary ball handler, as Nate is filling in for Job, who's not active tonight, as the lead guard for us.
And I said that towards the beginning of the game, David. You know, what kind of things are we going to see tonight from Nathaniel King stepping in for the injured Job Seasting.
And that's going to be a travel going against Portland Bible. It's got to be a little bit deflating after finally finding a way to get that bucket. And West Coast tossing it up the court early.
Bosher's got it. He drives. And count the basket. Very nice play there from Braxton Boshers. He gets it to fall, and we'll have a chance at the line to make it a three-point play.
First personal foul. No line for one shot for the Eagles. Number 10, Braxton Bosher.
And it feels like Portland maybe just a little bit slow. It's always tough, right? The road team, maybe got a road trip or a flight or something like that. Tough to get some of that energy as they're coming in, but been struggling a little bit with that tonight. It's not been a great start for them, but it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. Let's see if they can finish this one a little bit better here, find some momentum moving forward.
Some great ball movement by Portland on this possession. The shot, oh, it's no good.
And Vermillion up and with it. He's struggled a little bit with his touch tonight, and it's a bit tough for the Eagles to fully gang rebound, but that's what's going to need to happen.
Brown saves it. Oh!
But they've been getting bailed out a little bit here. Lucas running into the play. Looked like it was going to be a 2-on-1, but some tough defense. Nate
What
with
a
the
move
save.
by King.
Bosher, Delaney, and that's going to go up and in.
Another easy 2 points by Gabe Delaney, and the Eagles have a 14-point lead.
And just the little things, right? The back and forth. We saw on the trip back down, Portland had a 2-for-1, but Lucas Hernandez ran his way back into the play to force the Arrows to think about it more. And then Nate King got into the play to clean up the steal and toss it out to Braxton. Going back to the other side then, the Eagles were able to push it with enough intensity. It stayed 2-on-1. Braxton getting it deep into the lane before dishing it to Gabe, who had an easy finish. Just great teamwork all around. Really, all 5 players on the team involved both in the stop and in the bucket. That's what you love to see.
We got a timeout on the floor, timeout on Portland, but checking back in for the Eagles, Ethan Delaney and Chris Galendez are coming back in.
And we'll see if it's exactly a starter swap back in, if they go back to that opening lineup of the game, or if they get some of the guys who have played all of the minutes so far and give them the opportunity to rest. You know, the Eagles are hoping that they're going to be able to keep this momentum going, especially with a turnaround the next game at 11:30 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow. With that kind of turnaround, you don't want to be burning your starters for 35 minutes tonight if you can possibly help it.
You're speaking facts there, David. You're speaking facts there. Well, I'm looking over here at the huddle of the Eagles, and I'm looking at Coach Sisson. It looks like he's very animated about his team. Can't quite exactly make out what he's saying, but if I'm Coach Sisson in this position, they have a good lean. It's halfway through the first half. Just keep doing their thing, just keep playing their game, and keep putting up points.
And sometimes you can feel like, you know, passion is something that you bring to the table to dig your team out of a hole, right? You got to have that inspiring halftime speech if you're going to come back from that deficit. But really, Coach Sisson doesn't just coach with passion when they're down and trying to claw back. It's just something that he does, right? That he has this level of commitment, this level of energy, just that he brings to the job day in and day out. And the guys have been responding to that great so far. And certainly he's helping keep them aware of the stakes, keeping them aware of the game plan here in the early going. Little Delaney to Delaney pass, and Ethan finishes that one inside. Coming up the court here, Chris applying pressure up top.
Vermillion almost lost it there, gets it back. He's looking for, finds his man.
And Brown out on the perimeter, not maybe where he feels most comfortable, but did a pretty good job staying in front of him there.
Nice rebound by King as the Eagles go the other way.
And almost too far in front of Ethan, but he does a good job of collecting it, and the ball just keeps ticking right around the perimeter and gets it to drop. It's Nathaniel King getting inside.
It's a great move by King getting the layup.
It is 22-4. I don't know if it's the 5 p.m. tip if we just need to schedule all of ours at this point moving forward. I don't know if it's the white jersey. Obviously, tongue-in-cheek, I don't know if Job Seasting's been holding us back all these years.
Oh, man.
Just, really, when you think of dead weight on the team, I don't think Job's the first name coming to mind. But, man, 22-4 here in the early going. Job, Seasting clan, we love you. This is obviously a joke. But, no, just a great performance by the Eagles here in the early going.
Going to the line for 2 shots for the Eagles, number 23, Chris Galendez.
And that's going to be a media timeout, I believe. 22-4. And you don't know quite how deep into the bench they're going to be able to get tonight. If the margin can stay like this, are we going to get to the managers? Are we going to get to some of the high school recruits that Brother Sisson's been working with, right? We got all sorts of things going on here.
Basketball teams are in the NBA 323-709-97.
And from Portland's side, you gotta feel for them. Obviously, this isn't the kind of performance that they would want. This isn't what they want to put on display, right? Coach John Wooden famously said, "Make every day your masterpiece." And this hasn't probably been the masterpiece they've wanted to see, just in terms of execution so far. If you're from their side, what's the one thing that you've got to do if you're them, right? You can't fix everything just in one timeout, in one moment. But what's one thing they can start doing right now, as soon as that ball gets inbounded, to try to get back on track?
Well, David, I'm looking over here at the Arrows huddle, and I'm watching Coach Arnold. He looks like he's very animated with his team. If I'm him, I'm telling them to take smart shots. I'm telling them to not take unnecessary shots. I'm telling them to get good looks, get down low. Obviously, they got some big guys. Therefore, they need to use their strength. They need to use their length. They just need to use their size. And if they use their size, they'll get some more easy buckets down low.
I think something else probably that it's a little bit hard to quantify within a game plan, but you got to play with a bit of pride, right? Like, you got to just refuse to let your team just get crushed, right? Hey, runs can happen to anyone. We've seen games where the Eagles have been down by double digits and come back and won. We've seen games where opponents have been down by double digits, come back and won. No game is over until it's over.
Exactly.
But they just have to refuse to allow open shots. You always have to close out. You always have to help. You always have to do all of those little things that you know are part of the game plan.
Speaking of doing the little things, David Goway has checked in for the Eagles. Man was a starter last year. This year he's coming off the bench. And I was talking to him the other day. He said he actually prefers to come off the bench because that's when he is at his best.
And different players, right? Finding that different sort of role. You've got guys who have thrived off of the bench and then transition into more of a starting kind of opportunity. And you've got guys that just love being able to get into a game as the other team is starting to have that kind of initial buzz wear down and just get in and just try to run them into the ground. And David, a lot of activity on both sides of the court, something that you'd be looking for here. Great dish by Braxton. That's good for 3.
Easy 3 there for Chris Galendez. A great look there for Galendez.
And Goway immediately getting a steal. Gets tripped up, not tripped up exactly, gets stopped up a little bit by the defense, but able to keep finding the open guys. Bosher here looking at Brown going inside. Good defense. A little bit more energy by the Arrows defense, it feels like.
Oh, just missed the shot there.
And Bosher almost getting that one to fall. Again, just about at the 10-minute mark, it is 26-4 in favor of your West Coast Baptist College Eagles. We were talking earlier about what some reasons for this might have been. I just want to point out, this is the first time I'm getting to call a game with Chandler so far this season. So, I don't know if there's any royalty fees involved with this, but Chandler, if you still need some tuition, then there might be an opportunity here. Portland hits their first 3 of the game, though. That makes it 26-7 as we officially cross into essentially the second quarter of this game.
Let me jokingly say the cash is always accepted. I also take credit cards.
And Portland coming back, looking for an answer. Got a three, got a stop. These are the kinds of things. You're not going to work your way all the way back into the game right now, but you just have to start stringing some of these together in order to be able to fight your way back in.
Ethan Delaney comes in for Zach Brown. David, I was talking about Ethan Delaney at the beginning of this game and how he could possibly be the X factor. We've seen him a lot here in the early goings of the game, and you can just tell this man has a passion. He's got a fire. This man wants to win. And even if he has to play the big, in this case, he is playing the big, he's doing his job, and he's doing it well.
And
see what I mean?
Really a bit more of a lengthy and a nice feed there. Braxton now dishing to Delaney, who goes up and around and drops that one in. Bosher been really the playmaker, not maybe exactly the point guard, but the playmaker the last couple of possessions. Gets a chance to do some scoring here himself.
Great sequence of events there. Gabe with the steal and Gabe with the steal and the dish, and Braxton Bosher with the easy 2 points.
Gabe just being a pest there on the next trip down the court, not just sitting back and enjoying a steal and basking in that glory for the next 4 possessions, right? Hey, every next possession is a new opportunity, and investing a lot of energy here in the early going. Hernandez coming back out onto the court, and Coach Sisson showing a little bit quicker trigger with some of his substitutions here. Right, this is, I think, Chris's second time to be substituted here so far this game, but he's got a margin, he's got a lead to work with. And great effort, great energy. David getting out there, and Braxton puts it down.
Dunk from Braxton Bosher. What a play.
He wanted that one last time, but didn't quite get the lead up, and smartly just kind of chose to just softly get it over the top. But with another steal and another fast break opportunity, he was ready for that one there. Great work by David getting that ball out to him. That's not an easy pass to make with as much of contact as there was as he was grabbing it, but to get it moving in the right direction, to find an open teammate, heads up play for him there.
A great move from Goe, a great dunk from Bosher, just a great chain reaction of events.
Portland gets that on the baseline.
David, I think the Arrows really needed that. Could that be the spark that allows them to start scoring more and possibly make a comeback?
David trying to get inside himself. That's going to get knocked away, and they're going to say that came off of David's hand. Good aggressiveness from him there. David's a good spot-up shooter, and so sometimes it can be easy for guys with a nice stroke, right? Just to stay outside and only to look for those openings from the perimeter, and yet looking to score from outside or inside or really wherever he could find the space.
What draft did Michael Jordan get selected in the 1984 NBA draft? What round did Michael Jordan get selected?
And 32-9 here in the opening going. Really not much to criticize from the Eagles side. I mean, I guess you can nitpick that they have 4 fouls, but you know, I think we're doing okay, all things considered. And we're gonna see if Coach Sisson makes any changes to the game plan here. Looks like he's really coaching up Zach Clay here in this huddle, and so it might be that he's going to get some run here over the next couple of minutes, bringing some size to that Eagles front line.
Coach Arnold seems to be doing the same thing for Portland. Looks like he's changing up his game plan a little bit to try and get the Arrows back in this game.
And they're all kind of huddled around. It looks like he might be drawing up. Maybe you're going to see a little bit of a tactical change, whether that be on the offensive or defensive end. Really trying anything at this point to get the arrow pointing upward for Portland Bible. With 7:58 left in the first half, it's Eagles 32, Arrows 9.
Coming back in for the Eagles, checking in for the Eagles is number 42, Zach Clay, arguably the biggest guy on the team.
And Clay checking in at this point, really with Lucas in place of Galindez, then one of the recent subs. Really Clay in for Clay in.
Bosher takes the fall. Hernandez nails the
Strokes it
three.
there. This is about as supersized of a lineup as the Eagles can go to, right? They've got most of their height from their starting lineup, and then they've also got Clay in now as well. And so really the only way you could just about get bigger would be maybe getting someone like Gabe Delaney or David Goway in for Nate King, I guess. But King, with that ball handling for them, a lot of size for him to work with. Eagles have been effective in pressuring passing lanes and on defense, and now just throwing a different kind of look at the Arrows who are already struggling.
Samuel Reese makes the first free throw. He gets the Arrows into double digits and misses the second one. Clay with the rebound. Bolsher's got it.
And dishes over to Lucas in the corner. You mentioned in the early going that this had been an area of some success for the Eagles. It feels like they've been able to find more success moving inside since that point, kind of always staying that one step ahead, always finding a counter punch. Bosher on the baseline. Let's see how this play gets drawn up here.
Bosher to inbound.
Lucas
finds Hernandez.
At the three-point line. And he's going to pull that.
And nails it again. David, you see what I was saying? Hernandez loves to shoot threes, and the thing is, he can make threes. So if I'm the Eagles, just keep dishing him the ball whenever he gets a good shot.
Really, one of the most important factors to being a good three-point shooter is being a good three-point maker. That's the deep analysis that you pay us for here, that we're happy to provide. But that set in jest, right? You've got to be able to have someone, because sometimes you've got those guys that they're smooth enough that they're usually going to shoot it, and they can make it at a decent percentage. But it's just that next level when you've got someone who can
Another dunk from
consistently
Braxton
punish
Bosher.
teams. Lucas punishing him from outside, Braxton punishing him from the air. Lucas with one dribble to set. That's going to be just short, but it's going to come down to Clay, who saw a guy peripherally. Turned out it was one of the Arrows, but a good job by the defense getting back. Open for three. Splashes that one. He got inspired by Lucas's destruction from distance.
Dimitri Weatherall with the three.
Almost an alley-oop layup there by Delaney. Was able to get back and cause some defensive pressure. And we're getting a little bit of a chaotic up and down game here over the last few possessions. Coach Sisson.
Also checking in for Portland is number 3, Jake Lafomia.
And Coach Sisson with a couple of words, just letting his guys know what they needed to be doing. And good defensive pressure is going to stay with the Arrows, but it's the kind of pressure that forces turnovers. That's going to be another splash by number 4, though, as Weatherall is working his team back into at least, if nothing else, a more respectable margin.
Delaney takes the three.
Just a bit
misses
deep.
that.
Clay almost able to pull that one down, although not quite. And King now defending one-on-one before the ball swings around. And that's going to be a whistle going against Delaney. Looked like the ball was already out and clear before a bit of incidental contact, but you got to make sure when you're having that kind of a hard closeout, the energy that's been seen on the Eagles' defensive side so far, you just got to keep that clean as well.
Number 44, Isaac Johnson, going to the line for Portland. He's got 3 chances here.
And he's going to rim the first one out.
Coming in for the Eagles, number 35, David Goway. Oh, maybe not.
And Ethan holding his wrist right now. Might have just gotten jammed a little bit or something like that.
I saw Braxton Bosher doing that earlier to his wrist as well. Now checking in for the Eagles, number 35, David Goway.
And with a lot of good contributors on the team, but, you know, in a manner of speaking, it's a bit of a slimmer roster. We don't go, 12 or 15 deep with guys that are likely to eat up 30 minutes. And so you just want to make sure that everyone's fully healthy, fully ready to go.
Johnson makes 2 of his 3 free throws. The Arrows now with 18 points on the game. What a move by David Goway, and he gets the layup to go.
Goway spins off his man and is able to get that one to go with plenty of space. And Portland working around. Bosher gets a hand on it, but it happens to slide just out to the Arrows and generously tosses it towards the ref, who is unlikely to be able to score for their team today. King getting ready to inbounds it here. Bosher really taking some lead guard responsibilities, even with King being the most traditional point guard style player on the court right now. But Braxton has that ability to create and to make plays. David doing a good job getting a hand on it. Ends up with Portland Bible, but disrupts what could have been an easier fast break coming back down the other
Johnson's
direction.
got it. Johnson again driving.
And a good pass out through pressure. King closes in, but that is going to splash. Weatherall's threes, really the one thing that's been pretty consistent, pretty quality tonight from the Arrows. A lot of other things are works in progress. A good dish.
King takes the shot and makes it. Another 3.
Answers himself. And good awareness. That dish looked like it was going into Clay down in the low post. But after the pass was maybe a little to the side or a bit of a bobble there, just kind of pushed right back out to King. But the presence of mind to go up with it given the space he had. Galindez coming in for Gabe Delaney.
Chris Galindez comes back in for the Eagles. He checks in for Gabe Delaney.
And immediately shuffling a little bit of the defensive assignments. Galindez is going to be matching up against Weatherall, who's hit some of those threes. You wonder if Coach Sisson deploying him off the bench specifically as a stopper, or if it's kind of just the way that the matchup shook out. But you could see there in that play, Chris was fighting his way through a lot of contact. Really good job in terms of his energy. And yet he was getting run off of the play some just because Portland is working so hard to try to open up Weatherall. And so he's going to have to be really active and engaged on the defensive end in order to try to counteract that, but definitely the man for the job.
Bosher's got it, makes his move, kicks it to Clay, and another easy layup for the Eagles.
And that's going to be one of the cleaner opportunities that Clay is likely to get, but set up by some great ball handling and awareness by Braxton Bosher.
Samuel Reese just couldn't.
And Bosher inbounding to Clay. I just want to see Zach take it up the court as the point guard, but does what's probably going to be more what Coach Sisson is looking for.
He finds Goway.
Goway working his way around. King again from the corner. A little bit short on that. That was a tough shot. And Goway bringing some great hustle on defense. There are a lot more blue jerseys than white down on that side of the court. Able to disrupt, though. Portland's got to be kicking themselves. That's one of their better opportunities on the night. Bosher looking inside, and we mentioned this again. The Eagles, after the early going, have really made a concentrated effort to get inside. It's been working well for them. Goway
Johnson with the floater, and it
looking
goes.
for what would have been a violent rejection, but that floater was just able to get up over the top. Looks like Zach Brown and Ethan Delaney queuing up to come in here soon. Bosher to King, King to the lane, takes it back out now, and not quite able to get the scoop and the score. It's coming back down, a little floater out to the corner.
The shot is no good. Rebound by Goway.
He was immediately looking to push it up the court to an open man, and yet then kind of slowed it down with a timeout here with the Eagles. Only 2 minutes left, so possibly just getting a limited window of time to get a special lineup out there and let that specific five-man combination go to work. But at 49-23, I didn't want to mention it earlier. I think we were at 36. We were at 32. points 12 minutes into the game. But at this point, the math works out a little bit easier and maybe a little bit more predictable. You never want to set a target score, but man, the way things have been going tonight, it feels like triple digits could be on the table for the Eagles if they could keep up both the same level of intensity and efficiency, right? Sometimes it feels like you got to pick one or the other, but this has just been a buffet for the Eagles tonight between both of them.
I've seen crazier things happen. So the possibility of putting 100 points on the board, it's definitely not impossible.
And the Arrows, with really even a little bit smaller lineup than the Eagles, a little bit fewer in the way of options coming off of their bench. And another one of those small Bible colleges, kind of like ourselves in some ways, that has basketball as a part of the student-athlete experience, part of that student life experience. We're not a basketball school or ministry school, and thankful for that, but pumped for the opportunities that we have. But these guys, given of their schedules and their evenings in order to be able to play, but maybe not quite as many options to be able to pull from here. And that's going to potentially cost them in terms of some energy, in terms of having to be aware of your stamina going throughout the game with fewer options for Coach Arthur to turn to.
Checking back in for the Eagles, number 3, Ethan Delaney, and number 15, Zach Brown. I see Coach Arnold over here talking to the refs. He's trying to get his team back into this game.
And they're working through, looks like some details of some kind. He's maybe asking for some clarity about how something is called. Delaney, next to the ref on this end of the court, looking much calmer. A lot more opportunities for jokes on this side of the scoreboard than Portland's. But we'll have to make sure that we stay on track executing in order to keep that moving in the right direction. Bosher working up top. He's loved going inside today. Almost able to get that one to fall. Delaney able to slow Weatherall down a little bit. Will this lead to a 3? Brown coming out to contest. Forces Portland to work from the half court. Arrows working from the post. And
Reese
Delaney is out and running.
The spin move from Ethan Delaney, and it doesn't go.
And a little bit of contact there. Probably right, not enough to call a foul, but definitely threw off his balance as he was trying to get around the 6'7" defender. And Bosher up top, now out to Travis, who's working against Zach Brown at this point. There's been a variety of defenders on him over the course of the game. Nice shot from the baseline. That's going to be the 25th points of the day for the Arrows.
Reese gets that one to go. Galindez has it. He drives, puts it up, and it does not go. Weatherall with the rebound for the Arrows.
Running back to close down Weatherall, keep him from getting an open 3. This is probably going to be the last Arrows possession of the first half, unless they come up with a shot quickly here.
Delaney's working on Vermillion.
It's about 14 seconds difference between the shot clock and the game clock. It's going to be a 1-and-1 opportunity, and so it looks like both sides will get one more possession out of this, although depending on how late the Eagles take this last shot from their side, there might not be much time for Portland to work with. Portland Bible gets it up, gets it another time, but not able to convert into points yet. And Galindez is going to come down with that and hits the deck hard, helped up by one of the Arrows players. Some good sportsmanship there. King getting ready to come on out, as is Gabe Delaney. And that's going to be Zach Brown and Ethan Delaney, it appears, both coming off. And that might be an offense substitution. 21 seconds. Burn the game clock down before going up with the shot with maybe 3-4 seconds left. Enough time to get a tip. Not enough for Portland Bible to get back down the court with a real possession. Bosher draining this.
Looking to get a buzzer beater off, possibly. Bosher, the drive.
going inside, not able to get that one. 2-1, and that's going to be it. I don't think that left his hand in time, but it was slightly to the right as well. Really, almost a perfect first half you'd have to feel for the Eagles. Everything coming up their direction here in the early going, as the score is 49-25.
24-point lead for the Eagles
here at the half. And certainly not going to have the opportunity, not going to have the luxury to just take the second half off, right? You've always got to finish the game. But honestly, you feel like Coach Sisson is probably going to be looking at the level of intensity, at the level of attention to detail, regardless of the score, right? The performance that your team puts out is not just the reflection of the numbers on the scoreboard, but the kind of quality that they play with. He's going to be looking for a quality second half.
Right.
Quality shots, quality process, quality effort on the defensive end. But, man, if they can approach anything like the quality that they had in the first half, you got to feel good about this one at 49-25. Well, we're going to be back in a couple of minutes. We'll mention some of our stats from the first half and lead you in on the second. For Chandler, I'm David. Thanks for joining us here in the early going. We'll be right back.
Awesome job. I'm going to ask you guys to divide up into 2 teams, 4 each. So let's just have you 4 over there and you 4 on that side. Please line up at your bucket and I will explain the rules tonight. Line up at your bucket. Very simple game. Luke, why don't you move your bucket just a little bit over this direction? You're going to be on this bucket right here. So move your bucket over just a little bit. Thank you. Over your time, why don't you move yours just a little bit this way? All you have to do is put a ping pong ball on the spoon in your mouth and carry the ping pong ball into your designated bucket. The person who has the most ping pong balls in their bucket at the end will be the winner. Now, just a few rules tonight, so listen very carefully. You can only go 1 at a time, and if you drop the ping pong ball, you must leave the ping pong ball on the court, and the next person will replace you, all right? So you can go to the end of the line after if you drop a ping pong ball on the court, all right? So pretty basic rules. You guys will go to this bucket right here. You guys in Ty's team coming over to this bucket. How many of you guys are going to cheer for the 3 girls in Ty? Awesome. And then how many guys are going to cheer for this side over here? Very good. If your team wins tonight, every collegiate represented on your team will get 1,000 points tonight. So, this is important. This is going to be a big deal. Here we go. Let's count down together. And all you guys need to do is put those ping pong balls in the bucket. Here we go all together now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! Very impressive on the first round. There we go. Good job, wow. You might have to make this a little more difficult in a moment. Very good, we are tied right now. This is anybody's game. Cheer on your collegian. Ty is moving a lot faster. That's what's going to come down to the winner of the game tonight, is how fast you can get this done. There we go, they're moving faster. No one has dropped a ping pong ball yet. Alan just completed his round. Here we go. We're going to have to make it a little bit more difficult. This just got very interesting. Doing a good job, doing a very good job. I have not seen anyone drop a ping pong ball yet. I am extremely impressed tonight. Tight speed walking. Trying to catch up here. Let's see, in this bucket we have 12 ping pong balls in this bucket. Giselle, how many ping pong balls in that bucket over there? 14? It's 14 to 12. We are very close. Just a few more seconds. Cheer on your collegian. Now it's power walking. They got to catch up. They got to catch up if they're going to win this one. It's 13 to 15, I believe. Here we go. Let's count down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Give these guys a hand. Great job tonight. It looks like the winner is Ty and the three girls. Great job. 1,000 points to all of your collegians, and the winning team, please see me for a special prize as well. Thank you guys so much. We will see you guys in just a moment as we conclude tonight's game.
Welcome back to the second half of tonight's game. Our score, Portland Bible 45, the Eagles 49.
And we're here with the second half. It's 49-25 Eagles as they start off with the ball here in the early going. Let's see if they can continue their great form from the first half. And Lucas dishes over to Galindez. Galindez with the first shot for the Eagles here in the half, but not able to get that one to fall. I'm David Adams, joined here tonight by Chandler Kirkland. It's been great having you and having the opportunity to call this one with you, Chandler.
Thank you, David. I really appreciate that. This is, I think, my 4th or 5th game this season. It's something I love doing, and I just love watching these Eagles play.
And Gabe Delaney immediately getting subbed in for Chris. And so you wonder if there's just a matchup that Coach Sisson saw maybe a little bit differently, maybe a wrinkle or something like that. If he just wanted to get Gabe's energy on the court or something like that. But a pretty quick sub here, less than a minute into the game.
Isaac Johnson gets the jumper to fall for the Arrows, and it's now Eagles ball. Some great ball movement to start the second half. The Delaney brothers.
Ethan over to Lucas, who pulls up
and nails
splashes that, just making it look easy. Our second leading scorer in the first half on 9 points, all of them coming from outside. Good play by Portland, though. Gets it out to Vermillion on the outside, who is able to find 44 cutting in. But we've got players running back. It's a fluid game here. And good work by the Eagles, trying to muck it up here a little bit. But that's going to be a fast break coming back down the other way.
There's some great effort, though, by Ethan Delaney getting down there and stopping the fast break. That way, the Arrows can have a full possession and not some easy points. They're making them earn it the hard way. Weatherall drives. Doesn't get that one to go.
And Ethan, after running back on the fast break, had to then bang around in the post on defense, was able to help his team walk away with a stop. Nate King now coming out with, as well as Ethan Delaney, with Zach Brown and David Goway checking in. And so really just a lot of fluidity with lineups here in the early going. Lucas was looking at that three.
Bosher nearly lost it. Gets it back, looks to drive, finds the cutting Gabe Delaney and gets the layup to go.
That reverse layup, drops that one right in. And the Eagles picking up where they left off in terms of still finding ways to score. Portland Bible also
Johnson with the
finding ways to
putback.
score.
Isaac Johnson has gotten all 6 of the points to start this half for the Arrows. Delaney with the three.
Gabe Delaney splashing it right in front of the Eagles bench. All of their players on their feet with that one there.
Vermillion finds Reese. Reese goes up. It's rebounded by Delaney, and the Eagles go the other way.
And really rebound even a little bit strong there. It looked like he was behind the backboard all the way. Goway almost splashing a second three in front of the Eagles bench. Just sure they would have exploded there if that one had been able to go. Goway now fronting Vermillion in the post and gets some active hands in there. That's great awareness, right? You're not going to be able to fully match up with the length. So instead of trying to get up there, front him, get your hands in the way, and trust the help behind you if the ball is able to get past you.
Fouls on number 35, David Goway. It remains Arrows ball. Weatherall finds Cremier. He finds Johnson.
And just the awareness, right, shifting some of the matchups around. That's going to be a bit short. Tips it down. Lucas comes away with it. Bosher, Delaney, buckets.
Delaney gets it to go.
And is able to finish that one even with the long arms of Travis Vermillion sailing past him and then sailing past the pass there. A little bit of miscommunication on the Arrows side. Coming back for the Eagles.
Number 15 for the Arrows, Jeremy Lane, is in, and he's on Lucas Hernandez.
And if I'm remembering right, I think this is his first action of the game.
I believe you're correct, David.
Portland Bible dipping into their bench, trying to keep some of their guys fresh for the turnaround tomorrow morning. Again, we'll be coming to you live 11:30 a.m. Pacific time for a rematch. That's going to be the final home game of the semester for your West Coast Baptist College Eagles.
16 minutes to go in the second half. The Eagles lead the Arrows 61-31. But the game isn't over. And David, like we said in the first half, it's not over until it's over.
Arrows hanging right around the 50% mark of where the Eagles have been. It was 49-25 at halftime, 61-31 now. And so staying about at the same rate. You're going to need to see more from them if they're going to be able to get all the way back for this one. But it really does feel like the Eagles are up for it tonight. It's not to take anything away from the effort the Arrows are putting in, but it feels like Coach Sisson and the guys have answers for everything that's getting thrown at them over the course of this game. That's going to be rejected by Vermillion, but they're going to call that one a foul. Looks like he caught him.
You could tell by the look on Trevor Vermillion's face. He couldn't believe it. But going to the line for 2 shots, number 10, Braxton Bosher.
And got called against his teammate, number 15. And it's times like those, right? You feel like you can handle it yourself. It's always a little frustrating if your teammate gets rung up when you feel like you got the situation handled. But your guys got to play with energy. They got to bring that intensity to it, and you can't be too mad about that.
Checking in for the Arrows, number 2, Bays. He comes in for Vermillion.
And he's also not a player that's seen a ton of minutes tonight, but is out here now. Bosher going to splash that one.
Checking in for the Eagles, number 23, KG Galindez.
Chris Galindez comes in for Bosher. Weatherall to inbound. He finds Johnson.
Gabe Delaney brings some baseline pressure. Is able to slip past Goe. Goes up. Good job staying still. Getting vertical by Lucas Hernandez. Was able to still cause some difficulty on the shot while also not putting himself in the way for a foul. And yet we're going to see this one stay down here with the Portland Bible College Arrows. Out to Weatherall. Uses the threat of his hot shooting in the first half. Be able to create a bit of space for his team. That's going to go in and out.
LaFamia's got it. He finds Johnson. Johnson with the drive, and that one's no good, but call the foul.
And you could tell he felt the pressure coming because he kind of hooked back around to his left, knew that Brown was behind him, and sort of just made him pay for his energy rushing back into the play. Good awareness by 44, but is still going to have to earn these at the line. Gets at least the first to fall.
Foul was on number 15, Zach Brown. Isaac Johnson makes the first one.
And you know the game is going well when notoriously stoic, reserved superfan Dr. Getch is laughing over in the corner while talking with Pastor Chappell. And just really, you can tell the guys have put in the work to get this game moving in the right direction tonight. Speaking of the contributors on this team, it looks like Franco Murata is going to check in here in just a second for the first time tonight. Goe up and down with the left hand. Gabe Delaney now getting it. And that one is going to get pointed back in the Arrows' direction.
Checking for the Eagles, number 22, Franco Murata.
And Murata coming in for Zach Brown, and getting some of these big guys off the bench minutes at various times tonight. Coach Sisson's kind of mixed and matched over the course of the night. Brown has been in at different times. Zach Clay got some minutes late in the first half. Murata now coming in. But just finding answers, just finding contributors all up and down the roster.
Bay's working on Galway.
And Goe being tasked with leading that on-ball defense out here, and he gets fired up about that, brings that commitment on the defensive end. And let's see what Portland has drawn up here coming out of bounds.
Bay's inbounds to Lane. Lane gives it to Johnson. Back to Bays. Finds LaFamia. He takes the shot. That one's no good.
Short, and Delaney's going to come down with that one. Looking to try to run the court and find someone. Out to Murata. And Hernandez had a bit of space there up top, although the defense was closing in on him. Big Abe was looking for his guy, looking to try to get him an opportunity here. Once you get onto the court, you need touches to kind of get in the flow of the game. It's really hard to just come in cold. And so good court awareness by Delaney there. King is going to now check in for Goe as some of this chopping and changing going on here in the early going. It's 65-33. About 6 minutes into this second half. And Gabe Delaney helping the Portland Bible player back up.
Again with a good display of good sportsmanship there.
Eagles with 4 fouls here in the early going of this half. It would be a little surprising if that particularly comes back to bite them, given the overall scoreboard right now. But there's a possibility, though, there's going to be a little bit more enforced substitution going on later, keeping guys' foul situations in mind. But there's probably going to be some more substitutes late in this game.
And LaFamia loses the ball. Bosher's got it. He finds Galindez.
Galindez timing it up.
Emphatic rejection.
And the Arrow defender got a little bit more hang time, right? Because KG got him with the pump fake. But as he was coming down, he was able to hang up there in the air just long enough to be able to contest that one. Franco ties it up for a jump ball, but that first one's going to go back to the Arrows.
Bays had it on the corner, and he lost it, but it remains
sliding right there across the baseline on defense, and just a great heads-up play by him.
Bays to inbound. He finds Johnson. He kicks it to Hickson. Hickson with the drive, and he loses it. The Eagles go the other way. Bosher finds King. Galindez with the cut. Puts it up, and it's no good. Jeremy Lane with the rebound for the Arrows. The shot is no good. Galindez goes the other way.
And definitely been a more up and down game the last couple possessions.
Hernandez misses the three.
Almost cost him there. There's 2 Arrows both fighting for on the way down. Franco almost able to get that one.
Lane takes the shot and makes it.
Takes it, makes it. It's 65-35 here with 12 and a half left in the second half. Bosher to Hernandez. Hernandez just a little bit strong on that one.
Johnson with the rebound, and the Arrows go the other way. Johnson looking for his man. He finds Lane. Lane with the drive.
Good physicality by Nathaniel King. Probably the smallest Eagle on the court right now. Throwing himself in there, playing some good defense, but is going to get rung up for that. Only his second on the night, however.
Going to the line for 2 shots for the Arrows, number 15, Jeremy Lane. And he makes the first.
Back in for the Eagles, number 24, Gabe Delaney. Number 12, Keith Preston.
A new substitution tonight for the Eagles. Number 12, Keith Preston, my fellow Texan brother, comes in.
And you wonder how deep into his bench Coach Sisson is going to get if the margin stays anything comparable to this. Arrows have been closing the gap slightly here in the last couple of minutes, but it's still a pretty manageable number for the Eagles here. Preston now with the ball up top.
Preston gives it to Bosher. Murata.
That's going to get tipped out of bounds and stay down with the Eagles.
Allows Eagles basketball. We have a timeout on the floor. Media timeout.
Got a timeout on the floor.
The answer to our last trivia question, Michael Jordan was...
David, if I'm Coach Arnold of the Arrows, what am I telling my team in this huddle right now?
I think at this point, you're really just telling them that they need to execute the little things that they've been practicing all the way through. And that sounds like coach speak, right? Oh, of course you're supposed to execute the little things.
Right.
But at the same time, with all due respect to their players and to the effort they've brought tonight, you would be really just astonished, honestly, if this even gets down to single digits with the time left, given how the Eagles have played, given the answers they've had tonight. So it's probably not going to be this one great change. It's going to turn the game around, and all of a sudden we're going to have it down to the wire at the end. Hopefully these words don't come back to haunt me, right?
Right.
But at this point, it's just about just that consistency, that execution that you want to bring day in, day out. Whether it's the first game of the season or the last, was the first practice of the season or the last, that day in, day out consistency, becoming the kind of player and the kind of team you want to be. I think at this point you're really just looking for that instead of wholesale changes.
And if I'm Coach Sisson, David, I overheard a little bit of what Coach Sisson was telling his team. Just needs to continue with the game plan, just continue to take smart shots and continue to play their game and not adapt to what Portland is trying to get them to do. Galindez to inbound, gives it to Delaney, and another easy layup for the Eagles.
And David was kind of open there on the baseline until he got closed down right before the play started.
Oh, it's a hard foul there. Zach Brown goes to the floor.
Zach Brown.
And you could tell he was trying to set up that charge, but it looked like he didn't maybe quite get there in time.
Portland Bible, number 15.
That's a close call, though, especially because he was so clearly getting into the kind of position for that, but maybe they saw a late shuffle or something like that.
Jeremy Lane goes to the line again for the Arrows. Misses the first one.
And that's 6 fouls on the Eagles here. And so with just under 12 minutes left in the half, we are probably going to start seeing more free throws going the Arrows' direction over the rest of the night. But as long as the Eagles stay pretty clean on the whole, like they've been tonight, then you'd anticipate shouldn't be too many more trips.
Zach Brown airballs the three, and we'll go the other way.
Modern basketball, right? It's all about those bigs being able to step out and shoot. But he found himself with probably more space than he was expecting, right? He had that opening. The defense didn't track him out there. Sometimes you almost need that person kind of coming into your face and just to be able to pull up right in rhythm there.
Hickson has the ball for the Arrows. He's looking for his man.
David making it difficult on him. Looked like might have called a reach in on that play as he was trying to turn the corner around Goe.
They're calling,
and Brown gets rung up for that one again.
They're calling another foul on number 15, Zach Brown, his second consecutive foul.
You wonder if Zach Clay or Franco Murata might get some more time, or if Coach Sisson's going to say, hey, you know what, we've got the margin to be able to give us some flexibility here. We're just going to kind of let Zach play through even as he's getting rung up. The whistle has been a bit tighter here in the second half. I think in the first half we had maybe 4 or 5 fouls total. We've got 7 already in less than 9 minutes here.
Checking in for the Eagles, number 30, Micah Bagwell. He comes in for Gabe Delaney.
Bagwell coming in for the first time tonight as well, and so in Zach, Micah, and Keith. Some guys that aren't always the ones starting games or finishing closer games, but getting some of that valuable time, getting some of that valuable experience. No matter how hard you practice, you can't fully replicate exactly what it feels like to be playing in an actual game.
Bagwell misses the shot.
That's tough to come out and immediately be put on the spot to shoot. Let's see if he is able to work his way back into kind of that rhythm of the game as he's out on the court for longer. Go with a nice contest. Bagwell comes down with a good board. Looks off the man behind him and works it up the court now.
He gives it to Go Away. Finds Brown. Oh.
And Go Away going up with intensity is able to draw that foul there. Really what could have easily been a turnover. Good presence of mind, good hustle, and was probably going to be tricky to make a shot from there, but able to earn a way to the line regardless.
Go Away makes the first free throw. Coming back in for the Eagles, number 3, Ethan Delaney.
And it had been a 9-4 run for the Arrows. Obviously, with where the scoreboard is right now, it's not too worrisome, but you always want to keep that positivity. You don't want to just sit back and count your chickens before they've hatched. Even if the score ends up in your favor, you want to stay on the front foot.
Count your chickens before they've hatched. Now that's a phrase I haven't heard in a long time. Also coming in for the Arrows is number 44, Isaac Johnson, their leading scorer of the night.
I don't know if the metaphor would be counting your eagles before they've hatched just to keep up with the bird theme or exactly what kind of avian life we're looking at here. But Johnson up and down nicely with that. Weatherall coming up for a bit of pressure on Galindez, but the Eagles just kind of calmly work it around, and it ends up with Chris anyway.
Galindez has it. He's working on Weatherall. He finds Go Away. Another foul.
Go Away again, going up with intentionality. He makes that run in.
Fouls on number 44, Johnson.
Personal foul, 14 foul. Don't like the Eagles from very high. David Go Away.
And just making his teammates' decisions work out, right? Chris had kind of worked back into an ISO sort of situation. Those can definitely work. He's a great scorer. He's probably our lead ball handler on the floor right now, potentially him or Ethan. So you can definitely make isolation plays work. He had a matchup that he liked, but David having the presence of mind as the defense was collapsing on Chris at least gives him options. Right now, you don't have to isolate. You can isolate or dish it inside. Chris with a great decision in the moment.
Go Away makes the first one. That puts the Eagles over 70, and he makes the second. A little less than 10 minutes to go in the second half. The Eagles lead the Arrows 71-42. The Arrows have the ball. Let's see what they do here on this possession. Lane has it.
The Eagles have mixed up their defensive looks over the course of the night. Sometimes a bit of soft full court pressure there. Ethan picking up pretty hard at half court after not doing so beforehand. Sometimes they've sat back all the way. Just keeping the Arrows having to think about it, not letting them get in a rhythm on that end of the court.
First personal foul. Don't like Reformer Bible, number 15, Jeremy Lane.
Keith Preston with his first foul of the night. Jeremy Lane goes to the line for the third time for the Arrows. He makes the first one. Coming back in for the Eagles, number 13, Nathaniel King. He checks in for David Go Away.
And a bit of a smaller lineup here for the Eagles, really than a lot of what we've seen tonight. Ethan and Micah, the bigs, with Keith, Nathaniel, and Chris, all really being guards, even instead of wings necessarily. But we haven't seen Travis Vermillion play much at all here in the second half and good body work by Galindez, play much at all for the Arrows. And so you wonder if their coach is just kind of saving him for the rematch tomorrow and letting both sides of the game right now play some of their bench guys, get some more experience, get some more rest here as this game develops.
Foul on number 2, Bays. Galindez makes the first of his 2 chances at the line. He makes the second
as well.
What a steal by Galindez. He finds Bagwell. Finds Delaney on the wing.
And this is even the sort of thing, right, that this time is perfect for. You saw them get it there, and both guys, instead of one cutting out and one cutting in, both guys cut in. Hey, that's not an issue when you're up 30, and that's why Coach Sisson has these guys playing it out right now, right? Figuring out who's going where, finding the right pass, just sorting out some of these hiccups, getting those game reps, that game experience, getting the bucket at the end of it as well.
Weatherall takes the shot, and it doesn't go. Rebounded by Johnson. He finds Weatherall in the corner. And that one doesn't go. Delaney with the rebound.
Just guys bouncing off of him. Just going full Herschel Walker through the defense here.
Bagwell puts it in.
His first bucket, if I'm remembering right, of tonight's game. Galindez now on Weatherall.
The Eagles have a 33-point lead with 8.5 minutes to go here in the second half. The score is 77-44. Correction, make that 77-47.
Bagwell now up to King, who's going to work. And you've seen over the last couple possessions, guys looking for cutters coming down the lane. That they're playing inside. They're not just having a three-point contest unofficially for the last 8 minutes. They're looking to play well. They're looking to play with aggression. It's been paying off for them.
Weatherall with the rebound for the Arrows.
And some of these threes have been looking a little more tired, especially on the Portland Bible side of the court.
Lane with the drive. He finds Johnson, and Johnson puts it up and in.
And Coach Sisson just looked over to Zach Brown, who's going to check in at the scorer's table. Wouldn't be surprised if it's for Ethan or Chris, one of the starters that's in right now. Nate King being the other starter, still out on the court at this point. Good active hands by Delaney. That's going to lead to, thought about calling it a jump ball, it looked like, but it looks like they're going to say that Portland had possession and retained it through that timeout on the floor.
Timeout. The answer to our last trivia question, Kobe Bryant was drafted to the Charlotte Hornets. Our last trivia question tonight, 323-709-9794. Who holds the record for the most points ever scored in one game? Who holds the record for the most points ever scored in one NBA game?
And 7 minutes and 5 seconds left. It's 77-49 here in the Walther Center. Your Eagles leading by 28. It's been a great start for them. And really a start probably doesn't adequately describe what's, 5/6 of the game. It's been a great start, middle, hopefully ending. Just a comprehensive performance all the way through. Really right from the jump, they looked like they were here to play. They came out with intentionality. It's 22-4 right in the early going, and really just accelerated past Portland Bible, kept their foot on the gas all the way through, and just a bell-to-bell performance by the Eagles here tonight.
Both the Zacks have come in for the Eagles, Zach Clay and Zach Brown. They have both checked in.
So the only starter out on the court right now is Nathaniel King, who started and played well tonight, but even from his side of it, normally Job Seastinger is our lead point guard, with Nate kind of coming off the bench, providing shooting and energy, sort of orbiting around Job or giving him the opportunity for a breather. And so a lot of guys out on the court right now able to play together and experience live game action here in the Walther Center.
Bays inbounds to Lane. Vermillion throws it away.
And great defense by Clay. Almost able to go coast to coast with that. Probably doesn't get a lot of coast to coast opportunities, but after a nice steal, good active hands, was able to go up strong with it, but not quite able to get it into the hoop. Bagwell with some aggressive defense, making Portland have to think about it here.
Vermillion puts it up and is
And
fouled.
Zach with good effort. Bagwell came over and double teamed him, and Vermillion under pressure, but was able to pivot out to get enough of an opportunity for daylight, and was also able to get Zach to bite. Now a chance for 2 from the line, but good activity on the Eagles' defensive side.
Vermillion makes the first, and that puts the Arrows at an even 50 with 6.5 minutes to go.
And they've been playing better here in the second half. As a reminder, they were at 25 at halftime, and so with 25 now in the second half with 6.5 to play, a little bit more polished, although some of that has to do with fewer of the Eagles starters being in right now. Good job slowing down the play by Zach Brown. That was a nifty pass. It almost felt like a double dribble, but I guess he was already up in the air.
Johnson gets the jumper to go.
King to Bagwell, Bagwell to Preston, Preston to Clay. That's going to be a little bit short there. Comes
Gets
right
his
back
own-
to Clay. But really nice ball movement there. 77-52, 25-point margin right now. And Clay has ended up out on the perimeter. That's an open 3. That's going to be good. More than you'd expect for a guy of his size. Playing pretty well there. Although a breakdown somewhere in communication led to that 3 for the Arrows. It is an 11-0 run for the Arrows right now. And so it's possible that Coach Sisson is starting to have some second thoughts about this younger lineup. You'd love to see them get a couple of stops, be able to earn their right to play this one all the way out.
But there's also a matter of consistency that has to be invoked into the conversation. You know, how...
And a nice steal by number 2, or really deflection, not quite able to pull it down. And King going to get rung up for that. That's going to be his 3rd. We've got 5 minutes, 8 seconds left, 22-point margin. Arrows not looking wildly threatening, but have been playing well the last couple of minutes. And Coach Sisson now is going to tag Gabe Delaney to come on out. Give a little bit of consistency and maybe even a little bit more size out on the wing to this Eagles lineup right now. That's going to be King's 4th, not his 3rd. And so, yeah, he's going to get subbed out for Delaney, going up in size a little bit here.
Gabe Delaney is one of the veterans on this team. He brings a strong veteran presence in that lineup. So, not to say he's necessarily the captain per se, but if he comes back in on this younger lineup, they have a leader there on the court.
Well, those who listen to our games know that I make these references probably far more than the Delaney brothers deserve, but as an Orlando Magic fan, an ultimate supporter of both Franz and Mo Wagner, I'm always down for brothers playing on the same basketball team together. Gabe and Ethan both bring different things to the table for this team. Gabe sometimes a little bit more kind of quiet control, Ethan a little bit more of a live wire, but Gabe certainly has found himself in passing lanes, causing deflections, causing issues on the defensive end tonight, and both of them bring a lot to this team.
Also checking in for the Eagles is number 35, David Goway. He comes in again from off the bench.
And looks like Goway coming in for Clay, as well then as Gabe Delaney coming in for Nathaniel King. And so really instead of kind of that stratified lineup, you got your center, you got your point guard, just a lot of wings, a lot of switchability out on the court right now. Keith Preston, lead ball handler on this trip though. Goway to Brown. Brown danced around a little bit out there. And yet there's going to be a foul going against the Arrows.
The Arrows have trimmed the deficit to 20 as the Eagles lead 77-57 with 4 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in the half.
you feel like time's going to run out before they're particularly able to do something, although they've got to be encouraged that kind of what we mentioned, right? There's no one change, no strategic tweak that's going to make a huge difference, but just playing with overall intensity, playing with overall quality. That's going to be down to 18 now. Gabe Delaney bringing it up, just looking to burn some clock, find an efficient shot. Now it's over to Goe.
Goe's got the ball. He finds Preston. Goe kicks it to Bagwell.
And that's going to get rung up against Bagwell. And Galindez coming in at this point. You mentioned there wasn't really a true point guard per se on the court at this point, but Galindez being able to kind of bring some of that lead ball handler kind of quality to this Eagles lineup. They're just trying to see this one out at this point with an 18-point margin.
Isaac Johnson at the line for the Arrows for another few shots. David, you'll notice another veteran presence coming back onto the court for the Eagles in number 23, Chris Galindez. He checks in for Keith Preston.
And a relatively like-for-like substitution in terms of guard play, but certainly has that age advantage just further down the road. Coach trusting him to see this one out. But there's been some active defense by the Arrows that they are trying to not go quietly. It is a 17-0 run right now for Portland Bible College. It was 77-44, and here we are at 77-61.
Nathaniel King comes back in for Micah Bagwell. David, a lot of what you were saying earlier, Coach Sisson may have started to rethink the younger lineup. He's put a bunch of his veterans back in. Bays makes the three.
That's going to go to a 20-0 run, and rip to some of these guys plus minus for the night. But good energy, good effort being put in, just kind of the way it falls sometimes, or doesn't fall others. Vermillion now looking to bring it up. 3.5 minutes left. It's a 13-point margin, and Coach Sisson looking at some subs that he was hoping he might not have had to make. Braxton Bosher getting ready to come into the game. They're going to call this one a jump ball, which comes back to the Eagles, and getting some of these starters back out onto the court at this point. Zach Brown chewing up some good minutes here, giving Braxton a chance to rest, especially with the quick turnaround for tomorrow. But now Braxton, who's really effective driving inside earlier. Again, it's a 20-0 run right now. Let's see if the Eagles can break that, and Braxton immediately does. It's wild that you can give up a 20-0 run and still feel like this game is completely in the palm of your hand. Just really a testament to the excellent first half performance.
LaFamia.
Goe in the post. Height disadvantage, but they're going to call that one on the floor. Goe got pivoted around a little bit there, staying active, staying hard at work on the defensive end.
Folks, with a little less than 3 minutes to go, the Eagles lead 79-64. At the line for a few shots is number 24, Trevor Vermillion.
And Portland Bible's coach with a couple of words for his guys. Eagles with enough fouls right now. The Arrows know they're getting 2 shots out of this, and so a little chance to chat between each of them. That's going to rattle home by Vermillion. 13-point margin.
Bosher's got the ball. He's calling his play. A screen by Delaney. Delaney's got the ball. He drives and gets it to go. That puts the Eagles over 80 points on the night. Another sweet layup by Gabe Delaney.
And turns the corner on King, but who's able to keep pressuring him. And good. And Goe gets rung up for that one, but it looked.
You could tell by the look on his face he was not happy about it, but they called it a reach.
The ref had a completely clear line of sight on that, at least the ref that's over here, so maybe he did see something there, but looks like David was about as surprised as we were. Good activity level on the whole, and that first free throw is missed there.
Jeremy Lane misses the first shot for the Arrows. He gets another chance.
And getting ready for the second here.
And he makes it.
And Portland trying to draw up a 14-point play to get themselves back in it with 2 minutes left here. But they've got to at least feel encouraged by the quality that they've shown here. The real question heading into tomorrow's game then is going to be if the score line over the last 10-ish minutes or so is reflective of some sustainable changes the Arrows have made, or if it's more just a function of a little bit less experience on the court by the Eagles, and the starters are going to be able to push out that lead again in tomorrow's rematch.
Well, David, there's also something you have to consider. I mean, if it isn't obvious already, the Eagles have just have more players on the team. Therefore, they're consistently putting in a fresh set of legs. They're consistently getting guys who are well rested off the bench, and they just keep pounding away, and it's affecting Portland in a great manner.
And the Eagles getting ready to see this one out. 2 minutes, 17 seconds left. Eagles up 14. Eagles have committed 10 fouls already. So the Arrows, with a double bonus kind of opportunity that they're going to have here, that any even on the floor foul from here on out is going to send them to the line for 2. But as long as the Eagles can stay clean here, then this is going to feel like a relatively simple close to the game, even if it's more of a comprehensive victory than a destructive one that it looked like we might end up with earlier in this game. We've got
almost the original lineup in, with the exception of David Goe.
David Goe and Gabe Delaney in for Ethan and Lucas. So really a lot of the backbone of that starting unit, some of the more veteran unit out on the roster right now.
King to inbound. He gives it to Bosher.
Bosher working it up. It's a bit of kind of soft pressure, but number 3 staying in his face, giving him the opportunity.
You can tell, David, they're trying to run at the clock, and
And Braxton just shook him there. And a little bit of a difficulty, right, for Portland Bible. They've got to go up and make something happen if they're going to get back into this game. So the defender added disadvantage, but certainly the bench of the Eagles didn't mind Braxton just shaking him there as he did so.
Fouls on number 3, Jake LaFamia. Braxton Bosher going to the line for 2 shots.
And honestly, the defensive pressure by Portland Bible's guards here, especially as the second half is worn on, has been pretty good. They've definitely caused some issues over the course of the last couple of minutes.
Bosher misses the free throw. The Arrows have it. 1 minute and 45 seconds remaining. Lane's got it.
Bobbles it a bit there, but
he finds Bays. Kicks it to Johnson on the wing.
Minute and a half left. And that's going to be, I believe, the 5th for Nathaniel King.
Fouls on number 13, Nathaniel King.
And so he is going to get sent off for this at this point. Coach Sisson looking down his bench to find a replacement. He's going to go Zach Brown. He's going to upsize his lineup a little bit here, with Galindez able to provide some of that lead ball handling kind of quality.
Zach Brown comes back in. He checks in for Nathaniel King.
And it looks like it might just be free throws to see this one out. 13-point margin, but only 85 seconds left. Probably too little too late to really change much of anything at this point. Gets it into Bosher quickly before the defense is able to set up some kind of a press. Gives him plenty of space to play with, as he does here.
Just over a minute to go. Bolsher's running out the clock for the Eagles. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Bolsher needs to do something here. And he does just that.
He gladly obliges you, Chandler. I don't know if he heard that or not. Galindez now comes up and gets it in. And with back-to-back buckets, the outcome of the game wasn't in doubt. But a strong response here by the Eagles, just finishing this one off. You want to finish off with momentum, with some good buckets here, and they're going to do that. Goe gets in and disrupts it, but that one's going to stay headed down to the Portland Bible side of the court. Eagles settling in on defense. Might be their last defensive possession of the game. You feel like the Arrows might like to get a 2-for-1 as they're going to try for here.
Brown gets the rebound, and he gives it to Bosher.
Bosher's going to probably burn this one out. He's been doing that the last couple possessions anyway. And they have sent a different ball handler at him. But that's going to work out as Johnson is able to... I think Bosher was looking at his feet. The ref thought he saw the ball maybe just barely cross that half-court line. Call coming in from the far side, but at a pretty straight angle. And Portland with a timeout here. 32.2 seconds left, down 16. If they hit 6 threes and cause a lot of stops, they can get away with this one. But
I've seen crazier outcomes.
Again, just trying to keep that positive mentality, right, that we talked about. Just play every possession like it's already a close game anyway, and just see where you can go from there. But the Eagles feeling relatively comfortable. Probably one stop, one offensive possession, and that's going to do it for them. Again, we're going to see a rematch of this game, 11:30 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow, 2:30 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow, right back here in the Walther Center. The game was originally mentioned as going to be starting a little bit later, but to allow the team to hit the road a bit earlier for a road trip, that game got moved up. So it's at 11:30 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow. And I'll be here. Chandler has classes or other sorts of responsibilities, but I appreciate you opening up your schedule this evening and appreciate the opportunity to call this game with you.
Anytime, David, and this is something I love doing. I love watching the Eagles play. I love being here. I love doing this. So today was a good game for the Eagles and the Arrows both, but I think we can probably figure out by now we know who's going to come out on top.
And there are few things that Chandler loves more than Eagles basketball. Frankly, his home state of Texas
Amen.
Might be one of the few of those, as you got an example right there.
You can ask Keith Preston and Braxton Bosher both. I gotta help out my fellow Texan brothers any way I can.
Well, the Eagles have been helping themselves out with just a strong performance here tonight. 16 seconds, and this one is going to just get worked all the way down. Weatherall trying to pressure Preston here, but it looks like this is going to pretty much do it as Preston dribbles it out. 85-69, 16-point margin of victory for your Eagles as the clock hits zeros. Great work by West Coast, the second to last home game of the season for them, and a comprehensive win. Margin ended up closer than they might have hoped for. Coach Sisson will probably have some teaching points to look at, especially in the second half, but really just a controlled performance from start to end, and a great win by the Eagles.
Overall, a good game for both of these teams, but the Eagles came out on top and they got the W tonight.
and it'll be interesting to see how each coach tackles the tweaks, the changes, new strategies, motivation, and some of these sorts of things with a rematch just so close around the corner, but certainly a great win for the Eagles tonight. Well, I am going to go head off to night class, tackling comparative religions here at West Coast, and so just back-to-backing, talking for basketball and talking for class, but excited to be able to have part of your evening. Thank you so much to all of our friends, to the family members, pastors, church members, just so many people around the country who might be watching their friends play for West Coast this evening. We appreciate you making this game part of your evening, especially to those on the East Coast. I know it's a bit later for you all, but privileged to welcome you via live stream here to the Walther Center. If you got the time tomorrow afternoon, open it up, 2:30 Eastern, 11:30 a.m. Pacific time for the final Eagles home game of the season. For Chandler Kirkland, this is David Adams signing off. Good night to you.
So long. Good night, everybody.
I got you.